Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I am Joe Santiago. Here is my partner, of course, Chris Pereira. Tonight's guest, Justin Yannetta, RVTA's 2022 Fisher Person of the Year, Junior Fisher Person of the Year, and the owner of Big Buck Baits. Makes all kinds of customizable soft plastics at very affordable prices. So we'll get into all that lure making.
Yeah,
Let's
real
jump
awesome.
right in. Huh?
Like I said, it was real awesome, and didn't mishear Joe. The kid is 16 years old, and he's got all this under his belt already.
Yeah, he does. He's accomplished more than most of you have. So, moving on, Chris. We'll get right into fishing. I have a feeling that this kid's going to be on for a while because he has a lot to talk about. So, let's get right into fishing reports and some news. I know Andy's still. And also, I'll just throw this out as a side note. There's some businesses that are starting to come on to the Mayhem page and they're starting to post some advertising stuff. They're getting a little discouraged about Andy Still. Don't. Just block them and keep posting. All right? Everyone's used to Andrew Still. He's just a part of it. If you want to fish in New Jersey, you have to deal with Andrew Still. It's part of the deal here. Just wait.
Look, you're welcome to block him, yeah, but I mean, just if you give it a chance, it's fucking hilarious. I mean, just go along with it. It's great.
He
It's
is
all in fun.
going to troll everything. He trolls my post. He trolls Chris' post. It doesn't matter. He's going to troll the post.
I look forward to it. I mean, and
I
once
do
you
too.
embrace it, you look forward to it. But if it's not for you, sure, just block them. You don't have to worry about it.
I
But
can't
don't.
stand trolls. I'm easily irritated by trolls, but I love Andy. His trollism is just great. It's the best. It's
I
the
don't think
same
he's
thing over
gonna.
and over.
I don't think he's gonna like to hear that. I think he likes to bother you, and I don't think he wants to hear that. So now I
Nah,
think
I
he's gonna
think he
take.
knows he doesn't bother me. He doesn't bother me. I
I
don't
hope.
think he really has any
Uh,
gripes with me anyway.
I just hope he gets you one day.
He'll get me eventually, but well, he did say, what did he say? He says all kinds of shit about me with this, but all right, whatever. Moving on. You have a Lake Apacon guide service report from Mr. Aaron Graybill. Before his report, I fished. Um, what night was that? Friday night. I finally got to take Scott Carroll and Lori, his girlfriend Lori. We went with Ed Hutter. I finally got to take him out for night fishing, and it was awesome. Scott Carroll hooked his first hybrid, and it was just rip and drag, dude. It was the
That's his
fish.
first one.
Not it's his first one in a while. I think he's only
Oh,
gotten small ones. He hooked into a real good. And Scott Carroll's like one of those guys who gets real excited when he catches a fish. So like the drag is just burning on his rod, and he's like freaking out, and he loved it. We got a nice picture of him with it. Ed was there. So, yeah, that was awesome. They loved the lake. Unfortunately, I tried my hardest. I was not able to get Lori hooked up with one, but hopefully next time I
I
will.
say I didn't see any pictures
I
of his
really
girl with
tried,
the fish.
Chris. I really tried, and honestly, I gave her the best lure. Um, of all the lures,
Dude,
I gave it to
you know
her.
what? I bet you Scott was just. You're saying he was excited. Dude, she always outfishes him when they go trout fishing. So
I
he was
know.
probably over the moon. There's probably stains on your boat from how
He
excited
was
he was.
so no. We were on Ed's boat. We took Ed. My boat only takes three. Ed could take four, so we
Oh,
took
that's
Ed.
right. I forgot. You don't trailer your boat anyway. You're
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
lazy.
I don't trail him with it. But yeah, it was. We had a lot of fun. They took so many pictures of the lake. They loved it, and he's already asking like, when are we going back this weekend? He's ready. So that was awesome. So you have fishing. So the fishing was pretty good for us. We'll see what Aaron's report is.
Yeah, night fishing in general has been pretty good. I mean, certain lakes it seems to happen later for whatever reason. I kind of feel like it has to do with the moon, but then it'll just contradict itself, and then I'll be back in square one. And it's just like if basically, if you can stay out there all night, it can turn on like a light switch. If you're pounding away at them, it could turn off like a light switch. That's the best. If you're getting them early and it turns off, give it an hour, and if nothing happens, you go home and go to sleep. Usually, it usually doesn't turn back on until right before the sun comes up, as far as the night fishing goes. But I mean, Lake Hopatcong Guide Service is also reporting stripers being caught during the day out in open water. Guys are trolling them out in the deeper water, 30, 45 feet.
I saw pictures. I saw a lot of pictures of them holding nice stripers in the daylight.
Yeah, those fish are being caught out in over the open water, 30, 45 feet, they're reporting.
They're trolling?
I don't know if they're trolling, but yeah, I mean, the report is saying guys are catching hybrid stripers out trolling. I mean, that could mean a lot of things. That could mean trolling lures. It could be slow trolling herring. They could be just drifting the herring, that's basically trolling, right? I mean, there's a couple of ways you could do it, but if you want to look for these fish during the day, you're looking out in this open water, basically.
Well, one thing I've been noticing at night when I'm finding spots that are more active and there's a lot of bait with a lot of fish activity, it seems like it's a lot less hookups compared to a spot where there's nothing going on. And
yeah,
all of a sudden you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're definitely not wrong. I mean, it sometimes just seems like there's so much bait there that you're if you're doing it right, you're using a lure that's supposed to stand out from these bait. Like, it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger than the baits, right? It's not, ridiculously bigger. You're still matching the hatch, but it's bigger than these baits. It's standing out a little bit. Maybe it's making some guys like to use the rattle ones. Some guys like to use the silent ones. I mean, but yeah, you're right. It just seems like sometimes there's so much bait in certain areas that you're hearing fish pound bait, and sometimes you just can't get bit. But other times, if you stick it out, sometimes you get the right angle on your cast, or you get the right retrieve. Sometimes just dead sticking it for what feels like forever will get you bit in those situations.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes I'll sit there, I'll try all kinds of stuff. I'll go through every kind of pause it, jerk it, fast mode, hit it from the side angle, hit it down the rocks, or bounce it off the rocks. Go through like 20 lures, and you still won't get bit. We call it the trap. Like, sometimes you just get trapped, and 2.5 hours go by of you listening to feeding fish, and if you're lucky, you've caught one or two. And in hindsight, you always think, oh God, I bet you if I kept looking, if I just left this area and looked, maybe tried to find like an edge of this bait or something. But it's tough to do in the moment when there's fish blowing up bait right next to your lure as you're bringing it in at night. It's tough to leave that. But I think sometimes it is the right move.
It is. You have to do it, and it does suck. So, moving on from Lake Hopatcong, Jen Wong, I talked to him. He caught largemouth crappie and bullhead catfish all on lures. He said everything is getting very, very active except for pike. He said he's having a very tough time finding pike willing to bite. Why would that be, Chris?
Well, I just got in before we started recording. I didn't even get to eat my dinner because I was pike fishing. And I got to agree with him. I mean, look, I've been out twice for pike so far in the last 2 weeks, and we had two the one time, average size fish, and then this time, one fish, pretty small fish, maybe 25 inches.
So pike fishing's tough right now.
I mean, look, I'm sure. I just did it both times based off land. I think that's how he usually fishes too. I haven't jumped in the kayak and really explored. I think what's happening is, like, when you're fishing from the shore for him, you have these spots that the fish kind of go to when it's warm or whatever. and the water's still pretty cool. It's still, we're not in summer yet. I think these fish are just moving around a lot. I think if I'm assuming, and maybe hopefully someone could chime in that has jumped in the kayak and did some exploring pike fishing wise, just covered water hitting those laydowns and stuff. I would assume that they're doing better because these pike gotta be active. They're eating. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just they haven't been, congregating in these shore spots yet that you hit from shore usually, and these rivers are tough to hit on foot. You're there's a lot of brush and stuff. You can only hit certain areas. I mean, hell, they're tough to fish from the kayak a lot of times too. There's so many laydowns. You got to pull your kayak over stuff. So it's whether you're fishing from shore or kayak, I guess you're. There's pros and cons to each. You take it one way or the other.
Just looking at the Skillful Angler board, a northern pike, no entry. It's empty.
Yeah, it's not surprising. We didn't have an ice fishing season. A lot of guys don't really start target other than ice fishing. A lot of guys don't start targeting until like now. So it's not surprising. I mean,
the other news here with the Skillful Angler, Joe Bergen, the ninja, he just continues to strategically eliminate people across this board.
How many do he got right now?
He attacked my sunfish, which we said was sacred ground. He went after it and took it at 10 1/4. Dwayne Chapman took the hybrid striped bass, NJ Squatch, but we know that's not going to hold for more than about 30 seconds.
How big is it?
Dwayne's is 24 3/4. Joe Bergen's sunfish is 10 1/4. I could beat that, I think.
I mean, anyone could maybe beat it, but that's a tough fish. I mean,
Here's what's interesting. I just want to say this, all right? So, if you just go through, you got Yellow Perch, Joe Bergen. He's a Mayhem member, right? Move on to Walleye. Now, there's two guys here for Walleye, Andrew Noonan and David Brodsky, both with 25-inch fish. But the girl, Katie Lynn, that won the Lake Ontario trip, she just showed a picture of a Skillful Angler 26-inch walleye. And Ed Hutter, when we were out with Scott Carroll, caught a 26-inch walleye. So 2 Mayhem members are going to take the split on walleye. Rainbow trout.
Did they get good pictures? For sure?
I mean, I was with Ed, and she has them posted on Mayhem. They're already certified her fish. 26
inch. Oh, all right.
Rainbow trout, Frank Rosinski, Mayhem. He's in Mayhem. Sunfish, Joe Bergen, Mayhem. Striped hybrid bass, Dwayne Chapman, Mayhem, but he's about to be beaten by me, who's Mayhem.
Did your fish get certified, though?
Not yet, no. Smallmouth bass was Chris Pereira, member of Mayhem, beaten by Joe Bergen, Mayhem. Salmon, Atlantic landlocked, James Conley, 24.5. Is he Mayhem? I don't know him.
I'd have to look at the picture. The name does not ring a bell off the top of my head, no.
Well, whatever. Point being,
well, I didn't submit my saltwater stripers yet either. I mean, I got all those on rulers. There's no entry in that, so I'm gonna
There's been set the bar for that. A black, a 32-inch bluefish and a 13.5-inch kingfish, both by George Horvath, same guy. But yeah, Joe Bergen, like I said, I called him out at the beginning of the season, and he really has. I mean, maybe we should have never had him.
Well, you really set a fire under his ass for whatever reason, so I'm going to do the opposite right now.
I don't think I set a fire under his ass. He just hasn't been measuring his fish for years. This is what he always does. Just now he's measuring them.
No, bullshit. I fished with him. He didn't catch fish like that. You lit a fire under his ass, all right, and he just went balls out going after these giant fish. The guy just went nuts. You said, or maybe I said it. I don't know. Those fish aren't as big as you're saying that. No, he went nuts. And so now I'm going to do the opposite. And I'm going to say right now, within the next couple of weeks, someone knock one of Joe Bergen's fish off that leaderboard. Joe, we will have some kind of prize for the person who knocks one of those fish off of Joe Bergen.
You're putting a bounty on Joe Bergen?
I'm putting a bounty on Joe Bergen's leaderboard fish, yes.
All right, so if you knock Joe Bergen off the Skillful Angler list and you're a Mayhem member, we'll buy them something from Justin Yannetta's Big Buck Bait site that they want. We'll get them a bag.
All right, that's fine.
Fine, deal. All right, actually, let's go right into it. Let's bring in Justin Yannetta. Let's get him in here. All right, so our next guest, who we finally got in flawlessly, is 2022 Round Valley Junior Fisher Person of the Year and the owner of Big Buck Baits, established 2022, Mr. Justin Yannetta.
How's it going, everybody?
There he is.
Going on, bud?
Right in. He came right in, no problem, because he's young.
Yeah. What did you do to come in so flawlessly?
Just press the answer button. That's all I had to do.
Just press the answer button. How many guests did we have before him?
Too many. 12, 10, maybe 9. Justin, let's get right into it. You're 16 years old. You're from New Jersey.
Yep.
You won Fisher Person of the Year last year for Round Valley. Your dad won too. What made you start getting into this? We've had one bait guy on here already, Adam Mihara, who hand carves wooden lures. Now you're a completely different thing. Now molding.
Yeah, completely different ballpark.
What made you get into this?
There's just something about, you go to the store and you'll buy 9-pack of soft plastics. You'll go to the store and buy soft plastics. And you're using them, you catch one fish, and they're broken. A hybrid, a walleye, they got good teeth, they fight great, but they'll break your soft plastic first try. I think my whole goal and the whole reason I started it was because, I want to provide a better environment, a better experience for you guys that use them, because I know that they're not going to break on the first try, and they'll last you for a long time, depending on like saltwater, freshwater. I had a customer the other day that was blue fishing, sent me a picture of one of my 5-inch swim baits. He caught 7 bluefish on one swim bait without it ripping. And those bluefish, they're very toothy, and I was even surprised that it held up that much. But now he's a repeat customer, and he loves the swim baits. Can't get enough of them.
I mean, that sounds crazy. I've seen, bluefish will chop through 50-pound line like a pair of scissors.
Yep.
That's crazy. So you have some kind of special concoction that you use to make the plastic that makes it somehow super durable, I guess?
That's pretty much it. It's this liquid called plastisol. It's liquid plastic. You heat it up to a certain degree, and I put a couple other things in the plastic. A little secret formula I got going on. It makes them a lot more durable. For example, here I have pretty much a swimming mullet. Looks identical to Gold. These are great for fluke, and these even the tail. It's really hard, and like if you try, a fluke isn't gonna rip that on the first try.
Eventually it's gonna break.
Eventually it'll break, obviously, because they're toothy. Toothy mouth.
If you could
make something invincible
plastic,
yeah,
you'd already be rich. You wouldn't be on this podcast talking to us.
Exactly.
Now,
this body is just, you can't rip it.
How do those compare in price to Gulp?
So I sell them for $4.99 for a pack of 9, a dollar a piece, and Gulp I think is $8.99 for a pack of 4.
Now, what about the scent now? Because that's going to be the first thing everyone. Gulp! You got to have Gulp. It's
you
all
gotta
about
have the
Gulp.
scent, the juice. So on my website you could choose what scent you want. I have crawfish scent, garlic scent. If you want to get into saltwater, I have bunker scent, shredded crab, herring, shrimp. So it's pretty much just like an oil-based liquid. So I'll put it in there, but that stuff is strong, especially the bunker scent. You can smell that from a mile away.
Yeah. Did you say you have squid too, or not yet?
I do not have squid yet. Actually, I do have squid. It's just not on the website yet.
Oh,
Same
okay.
thing with the shredded crab.
What would be the comparable one to just Gulp, like normal Gulp juice? What is it? Is
I think like Gulp is just like a water-based scent. Yeah, it is really strong. To be honest, I couldn't tell you what it's made of.
To me, the Gulp just smells like paint or something. It doesn't smell
it's not like
bait.
bait fish. Yeah, it's like a chemical. I don't know, but the scent that I use, if you smell a bunker and you smell this scent, identical.
Yeah.
But
I could buy yours plain, right? And
dip it in the Gulp juice. You could do whatever you want with it.
There's all kinds of paste. You could rub paste scent on there. You can do whatever you want, really. The important thing is the actual bait. So you have a bait here that's gonna move. I would bet money that your baits move better than the Gulps. The Gulps don't move that well. It's all about that scent thing. And
that's pretty much it with the Gulp.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth myself. Does it make a difference? Does it not make a difference? Sometimes it seems like it doesn't. Sometimes I convince myself that maybe it does. And, I don't know. But more importantly, I think is the movement of the bait. And hands down, your bait's going to move better than the Gulp just because of the flexibility of the plastic.
I think, they're even like just holding it now. It's all over the place,
especially in the water. By looking at it, you could tell just by seeing it on video that it moves. It's better. Well, it moves better. But it's also
I could do water tests, and not only does this thing move, but this new 6-inch grub that I have, they're crazy all over the place. Tail movement is absolutely insane. I just made a batch for a customer. They sent me a picture of a Gulp color. I believe it was Fire Tiger. It was like an orange and a yellow with black flake. And I made it, and they were extremely satisfied with how they came out, and the durability was just on point, they said. They couldn't get any better than that.
So if you make... So you can match colors, you can make custom colors. Are you charging any more for stuff like that, or is it still that base price that you set?
So... basically, say for example, you want like a pink and a white Gulp, a top and bottom color. It's going to be the $4.99, same price. But if you wanted to do something like a tail color, that'd be different. So you can have a pink body, a pink and white body with a chartreuse tail, white and chartreuse tail. I mean, if you can think of a bait in your head, I can pretty much make it. Just the main difference is the tails, and I mean that's pretty much it. Just scent is a little extra, 25 cents, 50 cents, and I can make baits glow. I can make them UV. For example, here's a chartreuse frog, from a customer in Florida. I can turn these lights off behind me. Not sure if you could tell.
Oh yeah, you can kind of see it. It's
I could turn that you should be able to hear. I could turn the lights off, make it a little easier. Because these things are very, very glow. I mean, I myself am shocked at how these glow.
Oh wow!
Yeah, now I can see.
Oh yeah. See, it's like night and day difference.
And so you could do that to like a swimming mullet.
Yeah, pretty much. So these swimming molds that I made here, these are glow. You so you're not going to be able to tell right now, but if you charge these up or leave them out on the boat, they're not like regular gulp. I'll go turn the lights on now, where they're going to dry up, and because you buy, the worst feeling is buying a bag of gulp and you don't even use it and they're all dried up. So it's like you're wasting your money. It's like there's a no-brainer.
I gotta be honest. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I'm probably speaking for like 90% of saltwater anglers. I hate that gulp works, right? So if I had something that worked just as well, I'm not using gulp anymore. I hate that if you forget to take it off the hook, it dries out, and you gotta like knife it off your hook because it's rock hard on there. I hate that if you leave it out, it dries out. The bag leaks, the stuff gets everywhere. It's annoying. That's just straight up annoying.
It seems to get everywhere, even with the bag closed. Like
even with the bag closed, the oil's all over.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It gets through anything. There's no way to stop
that. That liquid is made to penetrate that plastic material of the lure, so it also penetrates like any kind of seal you have on a container. It just eventually gets through it. It's annoying.
Yep.
But I wanted to just on a side note. So this guy in Florida that wanted those frogs to glow, I've never heard of that. I've never used a glowing frog.
So this chartreuse color, it much glows just the chartreuse. But then I can add this powder, this glow powder, so that when you charge it up in just a little bit of light, you can use your phone, the sun, you'll see it glow at night blue. I'm sure they do a lot of snakehead fishing down there, and apparently it's pretty good fishing at night with some glow frogs, topwater frogs, just twitching them on the top of the water. Apparently it's like lights out down there. But sense. A lot of people do request the glow, especially if they're fishing, for example, with a gulp. If you're fishing deep water, just charge it up a little bit, shoot it down there, and that's pretty much it. That they love it. I just had somebody in multi-species posted a picture of a fluke. I'm not sure if you guys saw that he caught.
Mike.
I'm not sure Mike. I'm not sure if he used a swimming mullet or a 6-inch grub, but I know it was one of those because I sent them to him. And I believe those were all glowing UV. Seems to work to me. I mean,
he limited out 3 days in a row, or 4.
Yeah, I mean,
3 or 4 mornings in a row.
Gotta work,
I mean, that's enough for me to want to try them. That's for sure.
I ask this question all the time because I usually no one knows the answer, but with gulp, it's like the biggest soft plastics bait on the planet, but then one of the most widely used soft plastics is the paddle tail, and gulp doesn't even make one. Like, what do you think that's about?
They do. They have. It's garbage.
It's terrible.
That's why you've never seen it.
They don't have a paddle tail.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they have paddle tails. They have like a 3-inch. You've never
seen it?
Because they're bad. They're horrible.
Their minnow is like that fork tail.
Fork tail, yeah. Like these things, right?
A little paddle tail one. It doesn't even move. It's awful. That's why you've never seen it.
Like their fork tails are like this, just like that.
Yeah, I'm looking for the tail like the Kitech, the paddle.
The paddle, okay. Yeah,
I'm telling you, they do have it.
It's
they
just,
it's 100%. It's trash.
It breaks. It's easy to break.
It doesn't move.
Well, the sunnies always bite it right off, but I love the paddle. I hate that fork tail.
Yeah, I make a lot of paddle tails actually. 3-inch, 3.5, 4, and a 5-inch. My favorite's definitely the 5-inch and the 4-inch. They got some amazing action. And like I was talking about earlier with the bluefish, if you're using them for saltwater, I can use some saltwater plastic that's a lot more durable than freshwater. and it'll last you. Who knows how many stripers it could last you? If it lasted this guy 7 bluefish, I'm sure it could last 10 striper.
Yeah, we
That sounds
use them
crazy.
to jig we jig lake trout with them with the 4-inch paddle tails a lot.
Nice.
Like
Yep.
when I'm using Kitex after 1 or 2 fish, it's falling apart.
It's over. Yep.
It's garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I won't even use a Kitech for that. It's a waste.
So
Yep.
what's the shipping like on this? Because it seems like you have a better product here and there's a lot more options and customization available. How long does it take to get this stuff?
So depending on your order size, if you order 10 packages, it's going to take me, a little longer than it would a 2 packages. It doesn't take me that long. If you have a simple plain, for example, these are some custom June bug Senkos, and these I can crank out in one night, one package. It'll literally take me one night. I'll ship it to you next day.
Now, how much is that bag?
So I think these come in a pack of 9 for $7.99, and they last about 5 to 15 bass, depending on the size of the bass, of course.
See, I feel like after he leaves, I could go on this website and just sit there for hours and like switch the color of the tail with the body, and I'll just be
You could customize it however you want, pretty much.
You know how I am.
Sky's the limit.
I'll just be coming up with shit for hours.
Yep.
Dude, and like I mean, it's not just for fun either. Because, like, all right, so a couple of years ago, I used to dabble in the plastic making lures and stuff, and the main reason I never did it like you, like I wanted to sell some kind of superior product or anything like that. I just wanted to make my own stuff in the exact color that I wanted. Like, I never could find the color I wanted, and so and that's what I was going to ask you too about your mold. So I used to I had this pourable silicone that you basically I'd make a lure out of clay. If I wanted to make a unique lure, I'd make something out of clay. I'd cook it, harden it, and then I'd pour the silicone around it and then it would set, and I'd cut it, and I'd have the silicone mold of whatever I just made. Yep. And I made all kinds of stuff, and then you'd heat up the plastisol like you're talking about, and you'd make it whatever color you want, and you'd pour it in. And I gotta tell you, like, it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass, honestly. Like, if you don't like doing it, or you probably have this system where you can really knock it out. I never really got that system. I just it became annoying, and I could still do it if I wanted to. I don't really do it that much anymore just because it's annoying. But having those custom colors was a game changer. I would go, Definitely. I made this one bait, and I went, and it's just a color that no matter what, they've never seen, because I just invented it. I just made it out of like scratch. And it resembled, like the bluegills that I was catching in this lake. And I went there to this lake that I'd fished for probably 7 years at that point. And in 2 trips there, I caught 2 of the biggest bass I'd ever caught there in 7 years. And it can't be a coincidence that it was just this.
Oh, I'm sure he has a bag of certain colored lures that he doesn't share with anyone.
I have my specialty colors,
He's got the Round Valley tournament winning colors. He doesn't sell those.
No, those are secret. You got to pay extra for them.
So let's ask about that with the Round Valley. Now, are you fishing on your dad's boat with him, or are you on a separate? So you're on his boat, but you're against each other. Are you fishing?
I mean, this year, yes, we're against each other. Last year was a little different because I was a junior, but we pretty much split the boat in half. He gets one side, and I'll get the other side. So he'll have his downrigger and whatever else he's using, his planer boards and all that on his side. He puts whatever lures he wants out on his side, and then on my side, I'll put whatever I want out on that side. And whatever fish is on your side is your fish.
So on the first tournament of the year, I guess your side did better than his side.
A little bit.
Well, who's driving the boat?
Well, he's doing the trolling motor stuff, so I get a little bit more freedom.
Fish,
no, it's a
Here and
50-50
there.
split down the middle. He's got one side, he has the other side.
That's it. I think that's the best way to do it.
When me and Joe did the tournament, right? So Joe set up all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mark was driving the boat.
Yep.
I grabbed the rod with the fish, reeled the fish. It was like, whose fish is it? I'm like, it's Joe's. Yeah, let it be Joe's.
No.
Just let him take it.
I grabbed the rod and popped the planer board and set the hook, then gave the pole. Oh, yes, I did.
No, you didn't, because I don't take rods handed to me, ever.
Well, who waded in? Who waded in?
You guys didn't know how to pop the board. I popped the board and then handed the rod over.
I want to pop the board. I have my own boards. It wasn't the first time I was trolling.
I popped the board.
No, ask Mark. Mark, we're gonna need your answer. Just the reply under this stupid YouTube video.
He doesn't.
Well, who weighed the fish in?
Me.
So you got to argue here. He weighed the fish in.
Well, because I said you
reeled it in. There you go.
I set the line.
I'm not a big fan of trolling. I want to jig the fish.
Jig.
So
yep.
I gave it to Joe.
A lot of
it was
people
trolled.
don't like
Joe could have it.
A lot of people don't, and I want to talk about this because, I've met people where it's either strictly trolling, strictly jigging, and it's hard to find people in between. Me and my dad, we love a little bit of both. Well, if we're not doing good trolling, we'll stop and jig for a little bit and catch a few. Not at the Valley. We don't jig at the Valley. Merrill Creek will jig for Lakers. That's probably my favorite place to do it. But if trolling slows down, switch to jigging, give them a little better presentation, and sure enough, you're catching fish again. But I know people that they hate trolling. They'll never do it. It's just something about it, and I get that too because. Sometimes you're sitting there waiting, and it's kind of annoying. You're not doing anything. You're just driving the boat. And I like to cast too. Sometimes I'll get impatient and want to cast, but it's definitely better for covering more water. You have more lines out, and I'm a fan of both. I can't argue. If somebody says we're trolling, I'm fine with it. If somebody says we're jigging or casting, I'm fine with it. It's hard to find people that like both. I know me and my dad like both. Reddy Salisi, he got me and my dad into jigging and casting, and he likes both too. You can't go wrong.
No, and I know I said I don't actually hate trolling. I'm with you. I'll do, but like you gotta adjust to whatever is gonna work best, in my opinion. But You're right. There are some people that no matter what, they will not do one or the other.
My big thing that I could tell you is, and these guys could definitely tell you because they have first of all, to win that Fisher Person of the Year, you have to basically fish every tournament and you have to do well in every tournament.
Yep.
The preparation that goes into trolling that lake, and this is why, like, if my kids are going fishing, like, we go jigging because I just have to grab 3 rods and throw them in the truck and we're out of here. When we go troll around Valley, I'm up for hours the night before.
Getting everything ready,
rods
boards
ready,
and lines, lures. It's controlled chaos. That's all it is.
In all honesty, there's probably more prep time than there is involved in actually fishing. Like, it's that much dedication. All these different
you got to put your mind to
it. It's a lot involved, but it's very productive. And like I've told people before, I mean, that seems to be the way to do it. I mean, obviously everyone is going to get lucky at some point, but you're going to be consistently outfished unless you do that. You just can't.
Definitely.
As much as Chris doesn't want to admit, there's no way around it.
For
It's shit,
Round
you
Valley,
just gotta adapt.
you're right.
And Gulp doesn't make a paddle tail.
Yes,
Does
they
it?
do.
No.
100%.
I swear I saw it earlier because I was looking up Gulp colors to recreate.
Listen, Justin, you probably don't know this yet, but Joe just goes completely wrong on at least one thing during every episode, and he dies on that hill every time.
That's not true.
This is the hill he's gonna die on for this
I'm
episode.
Googling it.
Okay, so he's gonna waste
Should
the rest
we
of your
should we
time.
check?
You're not wasting.
Should we?
No, you're not gonna.
I
He's not
think
gonna waste this kid's time.
There's a Berkeley
You want-
Gulp saltwater. It looks like a piece of shit. That doesn't count.
Yep, that's
I
the one we're
told
talking
you
about.
it was a piece of
That's
shit.
the one we're
but
talking
it
about.
Exists.
All right, whatever. All right, so Justin, the big tournament that's coming up, July 23rd. I know I got the other RVTA guys.
Mhm.
So the Grand Slam. This is the Round Valley Grand Slam. I think this is
Yep.
probably going to be the biggest fishing tournament that the state of New Jersey's ever seen. That's the biggest multi-species freshwater tournament New Jersey's ever seen. I think that's what this is going to be.
I would have to agree on that. I know that there's going to be people from all over because it was pushed out so much, and we still have another month before it's even here. And it was being pushed out from whenever the idea was first made. And it's going to be big.
Just so
Being able to fish both lakes is great.
Oh yeah, just so people know, because they don't really know yet. But the tournament's July 21st to the 23rd. It's going to be on Round Valley and Spruce Run, including the Round Valley swimming area. And there's 5 different divisions: lake trout, rainbow trout, brown trout, smallmouth and largemouth is one category, and then hybrid striped bass. So 5 different species, one tournament. The payouts are for first, second, and third in all 5 of the categories, and it's $40 per angler. And shore fishermen and kayak fishermen are. This is just going to be insanity.
It's gonna be crazy.
My strategy? I could tell you, because obviously going for all 5 is just not. I don't know about that, but I think I'm
going to be skilled in a certain set.
I'm going
trout fishermen.
I'm going to go to Round Valley and fish for the rainbow trout specifically, and then I'm going to go to Spruce Run and go for the hybrid. That's all I'm going to do is those 2 things.
I would have to agree on you on that. I mean, if it starts Friday at 4 p.m., I believe.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be good hybrid fishing all night, and then I think you gotta split it up. I know I'm not my strong suit isn't largemouth bass.
No, me neither.
It's definitely trout and hybrids. So I think if you want to win, you have to pick 2 species you're good at and just target them hard. I know there's going to be a lot of shore and kayak guys. If they're good at bass fishing, stick to Spruce Run and stick to the Round Valley swimming side. If they're good at trout fishing, just stick to trout fishing. I think that's the best way to do it. And definitely splitting your time between both lakes is going to be a must-have if you want to place in each division.
So I mean, in actuality, there's going to be 15 people in the money.
It's going to be hectic.
This is going to be great. Are you fishing in this, Chris?
I mean, it sounds like it's crazy, but I mean, you guys have the date set already or no?
Yeah, it's July 21st to the 23rd. It's worth it to enter just with the raffle. There's going to be so many prizes. It's definitely going to be it's going to be worth it.
Oh, Mikey K actually already sent me a picture of a whole table full of prizes that he has
raffle
already.
Prizes, and it's going to be hectic.
when you're just buying into the tournament for the $40 gets you a door prize ticket to be able to win all those door. It looks awesome, and then I think there's even going to be Calcutta's added. It's going to get nuts. So
I believe so.
You know what? I used to do some stuff. I used to do some content. I stopped doing it for a while. I think I will do this one. I mean, this sounds pretty awesome. I'll be honest.
It's going to be fun.
We have to do this. We have to.
We need a lot of people. We need new anglers that don't fish these lakes.
What?
I have to do it with you?
Uh-oh.
Not if you don't want. You want to go against me? I'll
wait, is there teams? Or are we fishing, like, is it per boat or is it per guy?
I think it's per guy. You know?
Yeah, it's per person.
Per guy, yeah.
But so all right, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here just because we're on the subject. Okay, I'm fishing with Joe on his boat. Technically, we're fishing against each other.
Yes.
Pretty much.
But I guess if it's just only one fish, it's each one fish, biggest, second biggest, and third biggest for each category.
We could both win, yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like a bass contest where you're getting your biggest five or anything like that.
No, because if you could have the biggest rainbow and I have the biggest hybrid, we're both winning.
We're both winning first place for each division.
And if before the contest you and I personally decide that, hey, whatever either of us win, we'll split it. That's between us. That doesn't really affect the contest.
Doesn't
I'm not in it for the money anyway. I'm in it for the glory.
It's gonna be whoever wins each division. They're gonna be.
Then you got to win every division.
I want the hybrid. I'm going after the hybrid. That's the one I want. If I had to pick one, it's the hybrid. I want the hybrid.
Well, like you guys were talking about strategy. I mean, you gotta pick what you want to go for first and go for it. And
I'll predict two things. The winning rainbow trout's going to be caught at night. During the tournament, it's going to be caught at night, the one that wins, and the brown trout is going to come from Spruce Run on complete accident. Some guy going for hybrids is going to catch the winning brown from Spruce Run.
I don't know about that. I mean, you only see that happen in
early
once spring.
A year.
What browns in Spruce Run?
Yeah, but not in the summer.
There's no browns in Spruce Run. No idea what you're talking about. No, they're not there.
All right, well, let's not. We have to
not it live already.
Yeah, all right. We have to stop talking about the tournament because we need to save something for your dad's episode. So, because we basically have nothing left to talk to him about now. Does your dad do anything else other than fish?
I don't know.
That episode's a bust already. Now, what day is that? The 29th, we have I think it's Mike Connery, your dad.
And Ron DeGrasse.
Yeah. So we have all three of them coming on, and they'll have all the details on this.
Yeah, they're going to have all the details for the tournaments. And if you want to get more information, there's a Round Valley tournament on the 11th. There's going to be info there, and the Round Valley meetings are every third Thursday of the month, and it's definitely worth going to. You get a lot of information, meet a lot of people. It's a good time.
All right, Justin. I really appreciate you coming on here. Before you leave, you want to plug all your stuff so everyone... I want to actually make sure I get all this too because I want to dabble around this color mixing.
Let's repeat everything. Make sure everything's out there.
Yes.
Do we want to hit Seneca Lake?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Seneca Lake. Yes. Go Seneca Lake. Give us the Seneca Lake story.
All right. Seneca Lake. There was, I believe, 18 Round Valley Trout Association guys. We all went up. It was a good time. We definitely fished hard. Me and Reddy Salisi were on the same boat, partnered up. On the first day, the first fish we landed, I caught on a 2-color. It was a 4.05 brown, and that held second place for 2 days. And then eventually I got kicked into third. And then on the second day, Reddy ended up catching a 5.4, I believe, brown, and that booted me off into fourth and put him at first, and that won first place brown. Me and Reddy fished hard, and we made a great team. Matt, my dad, and Mike V, they fished on my dad's boat, and they caught big Lakers, they caught browns, a lot of salmon were caught. I know Mike Connery caught I think like a third place landlocked that eventually got booted off, but it was all big fish this year. I fished it for the first time last year, and it was wild. Not as big a fish though. I believe last year a 10.2 Laker won it. This year a 12.2 Laker won it, and second place Laker was 11, and it was all big fish. Rainbows up to 9 pounds. Browns were 5 to 4 pounds. Landlocks were huge, 8 to 7 pounds. It was crazy. And
you pretty much do the same thing as you guys do on Round Valley, or you have to change it up?
Little Warriors. Big shout out to them because they work like no other spoon. Round Valley, Merrill Creek, Spruce Run, Seneca Lake. That's it. Little Warrior. They definitely catch the most fish. They have good action, faster speeds, slower speeds. And it's a good all-around bait. They'll catch pretty much anything. I like to use just a plain, regular bait fish pattern with a silver back. I think it does great for any lake. I'm applying the same things I do at Round Valley to pretty much everywhere else I troll. I apply it to Lake Ontario, apply it to Seneca Lake, and applying those skills that we use down here, we're able. The last 2 years, last year Jeremy Romer caught and Greg Wojcik fished as a team, and they caught first place brown. So by applying our skills here at Round Valley up there, we're definitely doing something right. Because for Round Valley Trout Association guys to win first place brown 2 years in a row, we got to be doing something right,
Absolutely.
It's so cool that people that don't know anything about New Jersey, they just they live somewhere, oh yeah, Jersey Shore, there's no fishing. No, the guys that fish New Jersey are in a class of their own. And stuff like this proves it. And that's why I think it's so cool. You can literally take what you learned in New Jersey, go to another lake, and basically give the local guys. I mean, how many guys do you think in that contest that literally
I think there was
just fished that lake?
850 guys that fished, or 850 boats. I'm not sure if it's guys or boats, but there's definitely a lot of people that live on the lake. They've been doing what they're doing for years now. And for us guys to just go up there and take what we already know from Round Valley and apply it up there and be able to get first place, we're definitely doing something right. And you're doing something right when you're getting first place brown, second place brown. I believe Ron DeGraff got third place rainbow for a little while, and that was 7 or 8 pounds. And they're doing the same thing they're doing at Round Valley. Planer boards, dipsy divers. We're definitely doing something right.
Yeah, there's too much consistency to say it's just luck or it's just by chance.
Yep.
Like the New Jersey anglers are a force to be reckoned with, and whatever, no one wants to believe it, don't believe it. I
they
just want
underestimate them. That's it.
Let it be. I don't care. I just want the New Jersey guys to understand that they've got it pretty good here. Like you got to try. It makes you a better angler. Yeah, you got to try a little harder sometimes. You got a lot of pressure on some lakes.
Easiest place to fish. You know, there's
The
a
But it's
lot of
gonna
people
make
fishing.
you a better angler.
The elite,
Definitely.
the elite anglers of New Jersey are a little extra elite because it's just harder to pull it off here.
I agree. I mean, they're
I
New
bet you
Jersey
those guys
fishermen.
can't come down
I
here
forgot
and
that.
jump in a Round Valley tournament and do the same thing. I bet you anything.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a little fun.
I would have to
We're gonna
agree
have
with
fun
you.
with him while he's here. You have so he sells assortments. He sells lure assortments that are already made. So I'm
Yep.
gonna play a game of Manhunt, and the game is for John Gabarini. The first
Okay.
person, the first person who finds John Gabarini fishing on a lake, you have to yell mayhem at him, take a picture of him, and post it on the mayhem page. The
It's got to
first
be a
person.
video.
Oh, you could videotape him too, but I'll take a picture. Whoever finds John Gabarini first, I want a picture of you screaming at him, mayhem. I'm gonna have
How do you
him.
take a picture screaming at someone? Make it be a
Gotta
video.
gotta be
All
a
right, you got to
video.
video
Gotta be
him.
a
You got
video.
to scream at him.
I want him to be scared, like almost fall out of his boat because someone
Deal.
just screamed at him.
All right, you've modified it. So the first person to send me a video of this guy with you screaming mayhem at him, I'm gonna call Justin and I'm gonna have him send you his big bass bundle. Unless you want a different one, I'll get you a different one.
Yeah, there's multiple bundles: saltwater, freshwater.
If you're anywhere where you're videoing Gabarini, though, you're probably going to want the bass one, so I'll get you the bass one.
Yeah, and I have
there's some other
smaller
fish.
assortments too. You know, I have like here. This is like a bass sampler.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
not
get
sure
him
if
a
you can
bit
see.
for a video of Gabarini, though. I'll get them the big one. I'll buy him the big. Justin,
I mean,
so plug all your stuff. Make sure you get it all out before you go.
Warrior spoons. I love them. My dad definitely. He's the main reason I'm fishing all the time. We fish as a great team. Reddy, Salisi, we dominated up in Seneca, and just right over there. That's it. I think that's it.
Big buck.
And
Well,
of
a
course,
lot of our viewers don't like to look at Joe's face, so they just listen. So if you want to read the website out loud one more time.
So it's bigbuckbaits.square.site. I'm gonna change it to .com eventually, but last plug, I have to say, Round Valley Trout Association. I think they're doing a great job trying to enhance the fishery, and I think that's it.
Definitely.
Justin,
yeah, and just so we're clear, if you type in, I just did it. If you type into Google "big buck baits," it comes up.
It'll come up.
If you forget the website.
Yeah.
And dude,
it'll come right up.
Justin, I know you know how lucky you are that your dad's showing you how to fish. You've probably been fishing since you could hold a fishing pole. You're so far ahead of the game, dude. I hope you keep your love for it and love for making baits. It's awesome.
Thank you, Justin, so much, dude, for coming on. I hope hopefully we see you out there soon. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
See you guys later.
Take care, bud. See ya.
All right, guys. So pretty much that was it. Justin Yannetta, pretty interesting guest.
That's awesome. I couldn't even believe it. He's 16. He's got, obviously his dad helped him probably, start up the company. Right? He's got his own company. He's making these baits. He's selling them. He's making money, and it doesn't even matter how much, right? Like, even if he's just making enough to feed his fishing passion, like there, he's ahead of the game, right?
Well, just like I said, I mean, I could see myself on there tinkering for hours with, oh my God, look at this tail with this color, and I'll end up buying 10 different ones and never use any of them because it's just what I do. But
I used to mess around with it in the garage and like make my own stuff, but like it gets, if you don't really love it, it just starts to get tedious after a while, and the next thing you know, you
could tell just by the way he was moving it that it was, you could just see it's better than a gulp. You could see it.
Oh no, a lot of a lot of lures are better than a gulp as far as the movement goes.
Yeah,
I'd love to not think that I have to use gulp. I'll be honest. I would love to make myself believe that I don't need to buy gulp anymore.
The bigger news from him, though, is this tournament. This tournament is going to be like, you're going to have to call the National Guard in for this, for armed security down there, because everybody is going to go there. It's going to be like the proving grounds. 5 different species across the board on 2 different lakes for 3 days. It's going to be, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not directly involved with the contest at all. Like, we're probably going to do it too, but we're going to let them promote all of it all over the place. I mean, we're going to help them any way we can, but I mean, we
need shirts. We need Team Mayhem shirts for all our people that are in it.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be great. But the contest is literally multi-species mayhem. It's going to be nuts.
Will you let me sleep over your house for the 2 nights of that tournament?
Oh, God.
You have room for my boat, too.
I don't know. I got to install a lock on the outside of one of the doors, and I'll think about it.
All right. Listen, guys, we'll be back next week. This tournament is, like, huge news. Like I said, we're not going to get too much into it because those 3 guys are coming on. Eventually, Mikey K's coming on probably too. Separately,
it's still a while. It's still a ways.
Yeah, we got a ways, and we have a lot of people that know a lot more about it than we do. So, but it is big news. Keep it in the back of your mind because it's coming, and I really think it's going to be the biggest one ever. But we will be back next week as usual. Please, I'm not going to say anything about subscribers tonight. I don't give a shit if you subscribe or not. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Might get more. I don't care. Good night. See ya, Chris. You could wrap it up.
Oh, Joe, when we get off, I'll tell you what we'll do about the subscribers. All right? Listen. These guys on the Facebook group are enjoying all these contests. We're giving away free trips and stuff. Next big contest that we do where we give away a big trip or something, guess what? It's only going to be on the podcast, and you're going to have to be a subscriber.
Did you see the comment from the guy this morning on the page? He said to you, what podcast are you referring to? On the Mayhem page. Like, I had to comment on it. Like, dude, this whole page was made for a podcast. Like, they don't even know.
I'm still not 100% sure I know what a podcast is. I come on here, I talk with you, I talk to some other people, and then Deuce makes it appear on YouTube. I wish I had my flip phone back. I don't know what the hell this is.
Apparently, it doesn't matter what it is. All right, so we'll be back next. Who's the guest next week? Chase?
Next week, we got Chase Grossman. We had some technical difficulties. He was supposed to be a guest earlier on. He'll be back. He'll be back to try again next week. Hopefully we get him on. I think it was a time issue. Actually, I think it was your fault. All
right, we're about to hit Andy's time limit, so we got to go. We will be back next week. See everyone next week.
See you later, guys.